Hi, I'm attorney Keith Johnson. Welcome to another edition of the Lawyer's Lounge, a place where you can relax, kick back, and enjoy some good conversations that'll make you think about things bigger and beyond yourself. Today we have a special episode. We have one of my great friends, my pastor, my brother, Dr. Charles E. Goodman Jr. He's the senior pastor of my church, the historic Tabernacle Baptist Church here in Augusta, Georgia. We're going to talk about a range of issues going from politics, mentorship, faith, and even throw in some sports too. So stay tuned and check us out. Dr. Goodman hails from Greensboro, North Carolina. He's been a pastor since his late 20s, an amazing accomplishment. He just celebrated his 18th year at the historic Tabernacle Baptist Church here in Augusta, Georgia. He received his Bachelor of Arts from Wake Forest University in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. He also attended Candler School of Theology at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. He then went on to get a Doctor of Ministry from Wesley Theological Seminary in Washington, D.C. He's also studied at Yale and Cambridge College. So without any further ado, I want to welcome my brother, Dr. Charles E. Goodman Jr., affectionately known as PG.
What's up, man? Keith? How you doing, man?
Man, good, man.
I'm
Thanks.
glad I made it, man. I done made it to the Lawyer's Lounge. This is dope.
You made it to the Lawyer's Lounge. I definitely appreciate you coming in here, man. Let's chop it up. Let's get this out of the way first, okay? Mm-hmm. The Eagles won the Super Bowl.
We did win the Super Bowl. We won
that was last year.
No, it's still this year.
The Eagles won the Super Bowl.
It's fresh. 2 months ago. Have you, so that people know you are a Dallas Cowboy fan?
Well, anybody who knows me well knows how much I love football and how much I love this country. And I love America. And we are America's team. People care about us even when we're not good. And
y'all stink.
Historically speaking, we got 5. We still got 5, Goodman.
In what, the last century?
Listen, we got 5.
Come on, man. Talk to me something. Right, we got 2 in the last, 5 years?
Yeah.
We catching up.
Y'all rolling.
We good,
rolling,
man. We got
man.
a good team, man.
Yeah.
Give my Eagles some props, man. Not as dope to be here, man. First of all, I want to think that I have a big part of this because I'm the one that convinced you to come back to Augusta.
You did, man.
Do they know that story? That'll be great.
That was 2011.
Yeah.
I left for an opportunity in Atlanta.
And I said, man, come on back. You don't need to be in Atlanta.
Yeah.
But you was rocking. I get it.
Yeah, man. You know, you probably had those similar types of decisions. I'm sure you've been headhunted and you've stayed here in Augusta. Yeah. Can we just kind of talk about why you decided to kind of make this your roots when you had other opportunities?
You know what, man? I love Augusta. I started my pastoral journey is interesting. I was 23 in Alabama and got called here around 27. So I always say this, man, part of the promise of God, and we're going to go back and forth. So people, thank you for letting me dress down today.
Yeah, for sure,
Keith let me wear a little hip hop today.
We keep it real, man.
Keep seeing too. I tell people, man, that when God made a promise to the people of Israel, it was a place called Canaan. So it wasn't just a promise, it was a place. Like you got to know where you're called to be. And for me, Augusta is Canaan. It's a place where I love, amazing church, amazing people. And I also understood that what God was wanting to do with me and in me could be best found, flourishing, and thriving in this place. Mm-hmm. So when we had that conversation, I was like, I know it seems like Atlanta's the spot. Everybody wants to run there, but I really think that this could be an amazing place for you. And you went and tried Atlanta. What, a couple years?
I was there for less than a year, man. And we're going to talk about purpose, but like that was the first time in my life, man, I'm telling you, it was like nothing was happening right.
Yeah.
I mean, from like the apartment that I was in to the people I was working for, I was out of alignment. Yeah. And when I tell you I was restless and I felt like, man, what am I doing? Yeah. But it took me kind of having if you play golf, sometimes the ball goes in the woods. Sometimes you got to hit it out sideways.
Just hit out sideways.
You got to back up and punt in football sometimes. And I felt like that's what I had to do.
And when you came back, look what has happened. I think you're one of the premier voices in our city, major lawyer and all that things. You really are a community advocate. But it came because you came here. Who would have thought? Like, I was like, yo, I just feel like
Yeah.
you ain't got to go nowhere else.
Yeah.
And there's few that I've told that to who didn't believe me. And now they hit me up, man, Pastor, I should have stayed.
Yeah,
I
man.
said, hey,
Yeah.
there's something to be said about a space. Do you want to be the little fish in a big pond, or you want to be the big fish in a little pond?
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Do you want to be successful, or do you want to be significant? And there's a difference.
There is a difference.
Success, man, you can make a lot of money, man. You're going to make a lot of money in Atlanta. There's other opportunities that have came my way that I could have early in ministry. I mean, I always get opportunities. People always wondering, but I could be successful other places, absolutely. But I don't think I'd be as significant as I am here. So to me, that's really what you're chasing.
Yeah.
What do you want to be? Yeah.
It's a legacy, right?
It's legacy. Do you want to be legendary? You just want to be one of the ones.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, those are conversations people don't have anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the beginning for Charles Goodman.
Yeah.
Greensboro, man. What was
right.
it like growing up there?
Man, listen, that's home. G-Bro
Yeah.
all day, 336. Shout out to all y'all. We the real Carolina, right? I know you from the lower Carolina. We from the real Carolina. I was adopted at 14 months by my grandparents, my maternal grandparents. My parents loved them to death. They met at Howard, but they came up in a time when you didn't think drugs was going to be like they are. Actually, my mom just came for my anniversary. She just celebrated 27 years of being clean, so I'm very proud of her. And my dad is still pushing and still doing amazing things to this day. But at that time, when I was 14 months of age, my maternal grandfather, rest in peace, Biggie, Ernest Swan, came up to D.C. They couldn't find me. And they found me, and he made a decision, Charlie's going to come live with us.
Yeah.
14 months of age. Here you have some elder people, my grandparents. My granddad's getting ready to retire. My grandmother had worked as a nurse, and they took me in as a little kid, 14 months of age. And Greensboro, I grew up right there on Pickard Street, right there across the street from Blueford Elementary, Lincoln Middle School.
Did you grow up around any cousins or any?
You know what, man? It was a few family that was
Okay.
there. But it was just me and my grandparents. But you know how it is. When you grow up in those communities, your neighbors become your family.
Absolutely.
Like my boys, Kenyon Lawson, Putt, Kenyatta down the street, went on to the Navy, did some amazing things. Big Mac and Lil Mac around the corner. So it was all family.
Yeah.
We kind of grew up in our neighborhood. And man, that was formative for me. Formative for me in a way, not only schooling, but just my community. Everywhere I went up until Wake Forest was an all black experience. My elementary school was all black, middle school was all black. Dudley High School, which is the greatest high school in the world.
Okay.
It's all black.
Okay.
So I was formed in this crucible of black people that I was told we could be something.
Yeah.
Like, I never forget this, and man, this is a story I always tell people. I when I was about 13, 14, you may have a similar story. I was going to go to high school, and I really wanted money, man. At that time, I'm figuring out who girls are, so I want to get the right
That's right.
clothes, gear. Growing up in our time, it was Nautica, Tommy Hilfiger, polo boots. Y'all
J's.
know about that. Yeah,
Man, what? The zip-up polos. What you talking about, man?
So at our court up the street, man, there was actually a guy named Rat who was a cousin who lived right behind my house. And at the time, he was one of the largest gang leaders in my community. And so I never forget, we at the court playing ball. Everybody playing at the ball. It's just the court. And I saw him. I was like, hey, man, I want you to put me on. I'm 13 years old. At the time, I'm thinking, I just want a little money so I can get some clothes. I'm going to high school. I don't want to be picked on. I never forget the story, and it's changed my life. And as a matter of fact, when I go and talk to schools and young guys that I'm mentoring, I tell them this story because I think it takes people to have those hard conversations. He looked me in the eye and said, never. It was like, first of all, your grandparents are not going to kill me. I grew up in a time where everyone knew your people.
Absolutely.
So they're like, man, ain't no way your grandparents going to get me. No, ain't no problem. But he said, number two, you smart. You're going to be somebody. He was like, I don't do this because I want to.
Wow.
He says, you got an opportunity to make it somewhere. And he said, if I ever see you out there, I'm going to whoop your tail myself. He didn't say tail, but I'm trying to keep it PG. So he peeled out of his sock, gave me $500, said, here goes some things. If you ever need something, you let me know, but I never want to see you do that.
Man, what a guy.
Yeah, Rat is now serving. I mean, he's still probably in prison. Got caught up in some stuff. But that has always stood with me because what he said was, you're different.
Yeah.
And I need you to understand, I'm not doing this because I want to.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm doing this because I ain't have no choice. And I wish we had more OGs like that who would look at the younger cats and be like, hey, man, it's better for you.
Wow.
And that really changed the course of my trajectory. Because
Absolutely. That was a fork in the road,
I was so
man.
limited. I wasn't thinking beyond.
No.
I was a little church boy. I was playing ball. I didn't know. I just really wanted money to get some clothes.
Right.
It wasn't nothing that I thought I was going to get caught up in something
Like
and then
hurt somebody
for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
You know, and he peeled off like, hey, man, but you're going to be somebody. And to hear that from someone from a place where I wanted to be accepted was life-changing.
Yeah.
And so I was like,
You
man,
never
I was
forgot
like,
it.
I was covered, I was protected. And so even going through high school and stuff like that, I had guys, and who just all understood. Like even to this day, I've always had a plethora of relationships. Even some of my guys that I know back from home, that didn't make the same choices. I always had to tell people, there's not much difference between me and them. It's the fact that A, I understood I had a calling and purpose that I needed to be serious about, but B, the community protects you. Even when I went back, it was like, hey man, that's Chuck, that's our guy, but I'm grateful for that conversation. So Greensboro was home. I mean, to this day, it's still a place when I go, when I need to reconnect with me.
Yeah.
Now it's different. My grandmother just died last year, and that has totally just changed and rocked my world. So there's really nobody left at home, but the family home's mine. And so when I need to go back and reconnect with me,
Being on Charger.
once I get into the city limits,
Yeah.
that's all I need. Just give me one day at home and I'm back.
Yeah.
So
Do you feel like sports shaped you
Yes.
a lot in even going forward? Because I always talk about sports even when I'm making analogies because it's what I can relate to, and it teaches you a lot of things. So people who know you as PG, right, the national voice, may not know about, athletics and how it shaped you.
athletics changed my life. I was a chubby kid.
Okay.
I was raised as the only child. So it was me and my grandparents. And so I was a little chubby. And there's a community center in my neighborhood called Windsor Center Community Center with the Windsor Rams. And my granddad took me down there to play football. I'll never forget, Coach Hayes gave me my nickname. That's how I got known as Chuck. If you call me Chuck, I know you're from Greensboro. Coach Tompkins, Coach Jakes, these were guys that were older men in our community, and they took over our people. And we was a dominant team. I was a little chubby back then, so I was
a lineman?
before. I was a lineman.
Okay.
I had to
They
run.
let you touch the ball.
I had to run before the game in my little trash bag to lose weight so I can make weight. It was like 120 pounds. That was
You
But
started to
man,
eat
you know
good.
what? The reason it changed my life is I then learned about bonds, having brothers.
Yeah.
So we went from Windsor Center. I played football there. I played basketball there. There was Schamberger Market where we played baseball. And we were all the same guy. We played the same sports. And so what it helped me was I realized as a team, and it's something that I use in my leadership now. I had to tell my staff the other day, because I had to ask them, I said, how many played sports? How many you didn't? Because I approach leadership, I approach my team as a team. I learned as a team, you got to sacrifice. Sometimes you realize in any sport, football, basketball, that you may not score, you may not get the ball, but I was important for a score.
Yeah, you're right.
I also learned that you're not always going to be the best. I don't believe in participation trophies.
That's
I know
right.
that may be a little controversial.
No, we keep scoring.
I believe that if you don't earn it, you don't earn it.
That's right.
And if you beat me in the spot, you beat me. But all I'm going to know is next time, I got you.
Can't you tell people who were athletes though?
Yes, I can. I can
You can really tell.
I can really
right?
tell.
Because even in law, a lot of times that jury trial is like athletics, right?
Yeah.
Like I played defensive back. So I'm on defense. I'm a defense attorney.
Yeah.
You got the prosecutors, the offense. You got the judge. He's the referee. You got the jury. That's the crowd. That's the gallery.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? They are spectating. And I get a playbook. It's called the police report. So when I played DB, I had to know what routes they want to run on first down, second down, goal line. So now I know what that witness is going to say on the stand because I've seen the game plan. And if you approach it like that, you stay in the moment because at the end, there's a winner and there's a loser.
There's a loser. Same way I do with preaching. People ask me how you do all these multiple services, multiple campuses on Sunday. I approach preaching like an athletic event.
Yeah.
On the weekend, I'm resting.
Yeah.
I have a rhythm and a routine. When we have our 4 services and eventually going back to 5, it's 4 quarters for me.
Yeah.
My first service is first quarter.
Yeah.
I'm figuring out what we're doing. Second service, second quarter, right? Going between that third is halftime. What adjustments do I need to make, right? How do I eat? I eat a certain way at a certain time. I wear a certain thing. I got preaching socks. I got so because everything, that's how I keep my mind. So everything I do is like an athlete. That's the only way I can make it to do what I do. It's not haphazard.
It's
and those were
interesting.
when I was a kid. Those were things that we had to do. I learned as a kid, and it has built that substrate and foundation for me.
It's interesting that you brought up the multiple services, because I was going to actually say this a little later on, but I can attest to the energy that you put into every service. I mean, I've been a member for 15 years now, man, and I've just seen how I would equate it to your favorite basketball player, Kobe Bryant.
Kobe, my favorite.
Kobe was asked years ago, why do you go so hard? I mean, even like on a Tuesday night in November. And Kobe said something to the effect of, I don't know who's in the stands that will only get one opportunity to see me play and has spent their money to come or bring their family here. And I'm going to give them everything I got. Every time that I'm in the game.
Everything I got.
And that's kind of what I see when I am in church, man. So that's kudos to you and your stamina.
Shout out to Kobe.
Yeah.
Mamba mentality.
Rest in peace, Kobe. So let's talk about your calling, man.
Yeah.
How old were you? What point in life did you really kind of maybe hear the voice of God or get that urge? And did you need confirmation? Like, were you like Moses and like, no, wait, hold on. I know that I know that bush ain't talking.
Yeah.
Or let's go into that.
I think I knew since I was 8 years old. I grew up United Holy Church, so my grandparents are always in church. And so I would come home. It'd take them stories. They actually have pictures of this, and I actually have one at my house. I would come home from church and put on my granddad's shirt and start preaching in the vacuum cleaner.
Okay.
Going forward hard, jumping off the couch. I broke my leg a couple times, injured, jumping off. So people think I'm wild now. I was wild back then. And I would make them sit there and listen to me preach. My grandparents had a routine that every night they would read the Bible. I would have to recite scripture to eat.
Okay.
I didn't feel it was repressive. It was just the nature of how our house was.
That was the environment.
It was really big on knowing the word. So it wasn't something odd, And it really developed a love for me for reading and love for the Bible. I love the word. I truly love the Bible. I love the stories of the Bible. That's why I'm so passionate about sharing it, because of how I feel it has changed my life. So I knew when I was 8, but man, I'm 8 years old. I ain't thinking, I'm getting older. I'm going into puberty. I'm not thinking about what ministry looks like. And you gotta understand, I grew up in a church that never got over 40 people.
Small.
Yeah, small.
We got
small.
like, what, 15,000 so at tab,
16,
right?
Yeah, so I'm pastoring the largest church I've been a part of.
Yeah.
But I didn't grow up in that environment. I grew up in a little, Pentecostal church, and we just chilling, going to church and all day long, and then we had prayer meeting and Bible study and choir rehearsal. It was just, but I still got to play sports. I still got to hang with my guy. So it was never something that I saw. I think the biggest change came when I got serious about my call. I was 21. So this is chronicled when I was a senior at Wake Forest University, and I wanted to be a lawyer. I want to be sitting where you are. I had that pivotal moment growing up. I saw Johnny Cochran. Wow. And
I thought about
if it don't fit, it must have quit. And when I saw that, and I was like, I want to be him.
That was it.
That was huge. So I thought I was going to be a lawyer. Matter of fact, in high school, I got an opportunity. One of my classmates, who's now took over her dad's practice, was her dad was a lawyer in our city, Williams, Johnson, and Lee. Shout out to Mr. Johnson, who gave me an opportunity during the summer to work for them. So I was interning while I was in high school because I just knew I was going to be a lawyer. And senior year of college, man, I got diagnosed with ALS. Was told I had 2 years to live. And at that moment, it was like, okay, what in the world is going on?
How do you do, let's just stay right there for just 1 second, okay? Yeah. Because I've heard this story before, and looking in the rearview mirror is different from catching that news heavy at 21.
21, man.
What was that like?
Year, man. I honestly, man, it's weird. I think I went through a lot of moments in that time personally. Now I reflect on it some 20 years later. Man, it's almost 25 years later. Overwhelming, unsure. But man, here's a part of the story that, that night, man, I didn't want to stay at home. I drove back to Wake Forest because Winston is only about 30 minutes away from Greensboro. So I didn't want to stay at home because it was just sad. So let me go home. Let me go. My homeboys came up. Shout out to B Wood, one of my best friends growing up, Brennan Haywood, Putt, JP, Jermaine Price, and me and B Wood talk all the time, every day actually.
Yeah.
So I'm driving home. My pastor at the time, I was playing drums at a little church, Baptist church in Winston.
Yeah, hands like that.
I grew up doing it. That's why I grew.
Okay.
I grew up playing all those instruments, organ, congos, drums. You know, I wish I would have stayed with it. He met me at 3:00 in the morning at McDonald's near Kernersville, and I just shared when I think I was crying. He was like, "I got a feeling, Chuck, this is not for death. It's God trying to get your attention." I'm like, "What in the world?"
Man, yeah.
So, but I mean, it's 3:00 in the morning. So I make my way to my room. My roommate at the time, Chris Justice, man, shout out to my cousin, amazing. He was a D-back at Wake Forest too.
Okay.
End up, he transferred in from ECU. We grew up together in Greensboro. He's now working NASCAR. And so he was in his room asleep, so I couldn't tell him. So I'm in my room by myself. And I never forget, I heard a voice. And I was sitting there in my bed, and I was like, all right, God, this is going to be 2 years. I'm going to give you 2 years. And I felt a sense of peace. I don't know why. I can't tell you exactly how. You know, I'm not trying to be spooky, but it was like I got a calm. Like, okay, you're going to get through this, whatever that looks like.
Okay.
I didn't know it would be here.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't know I'd be where I am now. I just had a feeling it was going to be okay. Whatever okay was going to be. If that was going to transition, I've got a peace about it. And there's something to be said. I think sometimes you just get a calmness that you can't explain.
Yeah.
The only answer I have is that I felt like God's presence was with me in that room. That's all I got. I don't have anything deeper than that. And I felt okay. And I felt from there.
It's what the Bible talks about, like that peace beyond understanding.
Man,
you know, like that's
absolutely.
And that's
I just
not
know
intellectual.
I just know it. And that next morning I woke up and it was zero focus on what to do. Let me be serious about this ministry thing. Because at the time I wasn't.
Yeah.
I didn't even consider it. So by June I get the diagnosis. Man, by April I'm doing my first initial sermon. I'm acknowledging my call. And by April of that year, 2021, I'm doing my initial sermon. And I'm getting ready to try to graduate and those kind of things. And then just from there, man, it was just a trajectory that just, boom, that got me here.
Yeah.
But I don't think here would have ever happened if I wouldn't have got that piece in that apartment there at Wake Forest University.
Yeah.
Student apps, we called it. And I felt like everything was going to be all right.
Yeah.
And it has been a journey, trusting, living, and just believing, man. That has been kind of what has got me there. So yeah.
Yeah. And so pretty quickly you were leading a church in your 20s.
Yeah.
That's heavy, right?
Yeah. I get licensed at 21, ordained at 22. I started pastoring my first church at 23, this little church in Salem, Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah, Salem, Alabama. Wonderful people. I was young, man. I had a little hairline then, and so long ago. Hairline then, and man, those wonderful people took care of me for like 3.5 years, man. Yeah. And I never even knew the place God sent me, so it was really dope experience.
You know, do you feel like when you're the person that everybody kind of looks to for an answer that sometimes that gets heavy? Like,
absolutely.
Who do you lean on, or how do you decompress and charge up?
Well, I have a pastor. I'm grateful for my pastor, Bishop Anthony G. Macklin, who God connected me with in my time in D.C. Because in between graduating and before I started seminary, I stayed a year with my best friend, Brennan Haywood, at the time. He was playing for the Wizards. Okay. I got a whole lot of Michael Jordan stories, so if we ever get there, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
And through that connection, he was able to bless me. Another pastor who licensed and ordained me, Dr. Joseph Parks, has always been a tremendous foundation for me. So they are been my father and my spiritual guidance throughout the years. But God has graced me to have some great mentors that have always been great for me. Some of my best friends in the world in ministry, Dr. Philip Pointer, Dr. Nathan Scovins, who I knew way before this, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about over 20 some odd years of relationships.
He was just here,
Rod
right?
Parks, he just did Sunday, and P just did Thursday, and George Parks, and so many others that I've been grateful. And this is one thing that I am thankful for. I have been blessed to have long friendships, right? Like I'm scared of anybody who says you got a best friend every year. Like that's a little weird to me.
That's right.
I'm a loyal dude. Like I was raised an only child, but having friends over 20 some odd years is important. And so people that I know who know me, great family members. I passed away, Uncle John, who passed away, Uncle Ronnie. So I've been, in every aspect of life, I've been graced to have some amazing people who just been real dope and real cool, transparent, candid with me, honest with me. And so those have been formative for me.
So let me ask you something that I'm sure people have always wanted to ask their pastor. I'm going to have a few questions like this, but how do you know when God is speaking to you versus your ego, your own mind, like,
Gotcha. Yeah.
or what you want to happen?
Yeah.
Is it a feeling of like an answer, like almost like a knowing?
Gotcha.
Can you just kind of break that down for
me,
the average
filter
person?
has always been through the Word of God. So it always checks me. Is this me or is this God? And that's why I'm very clear about making sure I stay as connected through my spiritual disciplines. So I'm not just a pastor, man. I'm trying to be a faithful follower of Jesus, right? So every morning reading, praying, meditating, those things center me, regardless of anything else. Not that I'm reading for a sermon, like just like you don't just always read for a case. It's just sometimes just reading because I want to just grow. And if I'm feeling God is doing something, I always have to have it backed or filtered through Scripture for me. That kind of, I got to find out where this is, because that is, to me, the litmus test. But I do also think that there are a lot of times you just kind of know, right? There's an intuitive nature that we have. And it's always like when you get closer to someone, you innately can know what they're thinking, what they're feeling, right?
Yeah.
You know, as relationships, if we get tight with someone, we start finishing sentences. Like, I can go to our restaurant and I know what you're gonna order because I know you that well.
You. There's
right?
a familiarity.
There's a familiarity.
Yeah.
And the more you do with that with God, that's how I feel. Like there comes a point where I already know what God wants, because at this point we've been rocking so long that I'm not surprised, right? And so I think that really what helps. And I always tell people, man, I want to know what God wants to do, but get to know God, right? Like in your own way. Like there's no set way to do it. Like I'm grateful for the different experiences throughout life that I've been able to talk to God as my homeboy. I've been able to talk to God as a parent. I've been able to talk to God.
Let's stay there for 1 second, because I feel like a lot of times people feel like they have to have so much formality when they're talking to God, right? And if you read the Bible, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there are times when there are just conversations.
It's conversations.
Almost like
the Psalms. It's lyrics. It's a song. They are songs.
Yeah.
People have communicated to God in various ways, whether through songs, whether through prayers. I tell people, man, God is so gracious, and which I'm grateful for, that He's met me where I am. And many times I've been in the gutter, and He's met me in the gutter.
Yeah.
Right. As many times I've been on a mountain, He's met me on a mountain.
Yeah.
Right. As many times I've been in a variety of places, in a lot of places.
Yeah.
And He's met me.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So I think that's been the blessing for me. And I always tell people, we don't have to overcomplicate it, right? Like I think there is a unity to our God that He loves us so much that He meets us where we are. So,
what is something that people assume about being a pastor that's just not true?
That we're perfect.
Man, that was quick.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's tough.
There's an image, right? Or
image,
a perception.
That we're perfect, that we're God. People think sometimes
Especially in our churches, too.
I go up to, and I'm in the third heaven all week long. That I don't have to deal with this. No, I struggle too.
You struggle too.
I wrestle too. And sometimes people don't even realize this about the call. I'm grateful for the call because I do think that many times God calls us, many of us, to keep us close to Him. I don't know what my relationship would be like without having this call, right? Like I think there's something to be said. Like it's and so that perfection piece is always it. You always got to kind of be out. And people be surprised to see me out. Like I don't go to the store.
Yeah.
Like somebody hit me the other day. They saw me at what was that? Walmart. Because we ain't rocking with Target. So
yeah.
and they're like, oh my God, Pastor, you at Walmart? I say, yeah, I need some groceries.
Yeah, like what?
I thought you get that done. Like, no, I like to go out.
I'm
normal.
out.
Like I love going to the movies. I love Working out, like, I love doing those things. And so if you see me out, see me out. But, that's always a thing. So.
Yeah. What is it like to preach through like pain, right? Because I'll just use myself just to kind of start it out. When people hire me, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Nobody calls me when things are good.
Wow, that's true.
So they have an expectation that I'm going to show up like a robot, no matter what's going on in my life or things that I'm dealing with. When I come into court, I am putting all that to the side. And that is part of what you sign up for when you sign up to be in a helping profession like we are. But it's not easy. And sometimes you have to really focus in and just kind of be here now. And that's just me kind of talking to a judge or a prosecutor or a jury. What's it like to actually preach the word of God, which does move you emotionally when you yourself may be going through a trying time?
Yeah.
What's that like?
It's tough. It's been my narrative the last year or so. Dealing with a lot of loss last year. And I hate to say there have been times that I've had to be more robotic because you got to function.
Yeah.
Right? You don't get it all. But one thing I think that has helped me, Keith, is as I'm getting older, I'm less apt to, if I'm not feeling it, I'm just not feeling it. In my old age at this point, I am.
You got me by a couple years.
I could say no. I love preaching. I love pastoring. I love being around people. But if I'm not at it, if I'm not at my best, I'm okay saying, "Now I'm just not in it today."
Yeah.
And I need to take some time for me.
There is value in the word no.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
it's a complete sentence.
Man, listen, because you get so used to trying to accommodate, to try to help, those of us who have the calling to try to help.
Yeah.
And you almost feel guilty for saying no. But it comes to a certain point where you recognize that, you do need to charge up your battery so that you can help other people.
Just a little bit.
And
that's been helpful
definitely
to realize those moments. But sometimes you got to press through, man. It's the difference, as an athlete. Many times there's a difference between being hurt and being injured.
Man, yes. I told my son that the other day.
We play through hurt all the time. There's a difference.
Yeah.
Injured means you can't go.
You cannot go.
Hurt means you're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right? There's many times I'm hurt.
That is a great analogy.
Yeah. But I realize when I'm injured.
Yeah.
And I can't go because if you're injured and try to play, you do more damage.
You do more damage to yourself and to your team as well.
To your team as well.
Yeah.
But if I'm hurt, it's okay. I can press through some of this stuff. So.
Right. So do you think pastors should talk about politics or?
I believe so, especially within a Black context.
Yeah.
We don't have a choice not to because of who we cover, who we protect. I think by definition, the Black church is a movement of resistance anyway. It was birthed out of resistance. So yes, absolutely.
Which leads me into my next question, which is, man, do you think our generation is doing enough, man?
That's a great question.
You're a student of history. I study history, man. And I was thinking about this last night in preparation. And Dr. King only had 39 years.
That's right.
It
makes us feel so bad.
I'll be 42 on Saturday.
Golly.
He had 39 years,
39
man.
years.
And so do you think that just as a whole, that our generation is focused on leading in the same way, or are we more fluent, more independent, that we don't necessarily move cohesively where the pastor of the church is a voice and a leader like it used to be?
Yeah, but that's a nuanced question. So if we're going to dive into it, we can dive into it. I think that, first of all, mad kudos to Dr. King and those of that day. Man, when we sit back and think about what they were able to accomplish, who they had to fight, amazing.
The system. The government.
But here's the reality. I think they sold us a bill of goods, Keith. And I think the biggest enemy we've ever faced has been assimilation and integration. In Dr. King's day, there was more solidarity because more people were in the same place. I think as we have grown and we've kind of made it, whatever that looks like. We became more egocentric, self-focused than community-focused, which has been to the detriment of the community at large. So the fight is still necessary. It's just different. I've been really wrestling with this since we've had this last election.
Oh, yeah. Because
But
we're
it's
seeing
not something
stuff.
new, though. Here's the crazy thing, Keith. We're students of history. Every time there's been progress, there's always a backlash.
Yes.
Reconstruction, man, we was doing it. Do you realize there were more lynchings after Reconstruction than before?
Yeah.
Then you had from Reconstruction and that black backlash for Jim Crow. Then we finally had the Board of Education, 1954, and what that looked like, the high rise of the 60s. But man, every step of the way, we keep thinking we're making it.
It's a pushback.
They keep pushing back.
Because we let our guard down.
We let our guard down.
Obama got elected. We thought,
we thought it was
listen,
it.
we are in a
whipping our tail
colorless
ever since.
society.
And that's what that's what we lost. At the end of the day, I'm afraid of people say, don't see my color. No, see my color. Color adds tapestry. Who we are
Absolutely.
is don't not see me.
Absolutely.
Black, brown, white, whatever.
Yeah.
We can be proud of who we are
Yeah.
as long as it's not harmful to other people. And that's the challenge. I think we're at an interesting time. I really believe that, man, it's overwhelming though, ain't it?
It is. Because you see before your eyes the rollback. Like you see them trying to take Jackie Robinson off of any.
Didn't try. They took
you
and Harriet Tubman.
You just are
Smithsonian piece.
Yes. And it's like right in front of your face. And it is as bold as it could be. And you question, wow, this is what the country voted for.
This is what they want.
Because the man didn't.
He didn't hide it. I read all 900-some pages of Project 2025. Do you think we just do you think that people just didn't think it was that serious?
No.
I've wrestled with that.
We got too smart. We got too cute. We got too into, well, Kamala doesn't have a black husband. Or Kamala used to be a prosecutor. Shout out to black prosecutors. I was a black prosecutor. Yeah. I mean, what do we not?
Just doing your job. I don't understand.
So
I never understood that critique as well.
Yeah, and so I feel like a lot of people stayed home, or it became Trump's a businessman. He's gonna be good for my
He's never done
bottom
anything
line.
well though. He's never.
It's always been the bankruptcies.
My dad's from Atlantic City, so I grew up going to visit my dad, seeing Trump, Taj Mahal, and those. He's never been good at this.
And so I think that people stayed home, and we got, like you said, a little bit of a false impression that, well, they're all the same. I'm getting tired of hearing that.
I get tired of hearing that too.
They're all the same.
That's my critique. I would argue many people, especially media pundits who want to argue that both the left and right are the same. No, they're not. Obviously, if we want to, there's many critiques you can say about the left, no doubt. And most people don't realize, especially for black people, we are typically socially progressive, but morally conservative.
Morally conservative, right? Think about your grandparents,
Absolutely. Socially progressive because of the lack of rights, but we are morally more conservative. So there are things that our generation is more tolerant of that our older generation is not.
100%.
But it is what it is, right? Yeah. But man, they're not the same. All right, the left may cancel you, but the right is literally trying to destroy you.
Yes.
And I wrestle with that.
Yeah.
I wrestle, and I think I will say this about the new administration. He's doing everything he said he was going to do.
He is.
Which I can't. There's a part of me
even if it's legal or not, by the way.
Regardless, because I'm still trying to figure out how an executive order is a law. Maybe I miss civics class. Maybe people don't realize because I thought Congress makes
Congress
laws.
makes the laws.
That's what I was under. That's what I remember from 8th grade civics.
That's right.
And the executive board, they execute the laws that have been made by Congress, and then the judicial kind of discerns whether they're lawful
interpret it.
They interpret it.
Are y'all doing the right thing?
So how is this happening?
Yeah.
That's what I'm confused about. Now, for those who are woefully uninformed, he's doing what he said he was going to do.
Yeah.
Tariffs, I don't think people understand. I sat there like, y'all don't realize what tariffs are, do you?
Yeah, no.
You can't know what these are.
It's going to bring our jobs back because, like, we want to make T-shirts over here, though.
We want to make T-shirts over here.
Come on. Come on.
But okay, let's go. We have this. So that's why I struggle having empathy in this season for people who regretting a uninformed vote that they made.
Yeah,
I don't think they regret it. I think what they regret is they didn't think it was going to affect them.
that's right.
We live in a mean world.
We do.
And people want the worst.
Desensitized.
One of the things you asked me about as a pastor, I can parlay it into this part, is I struggle with, is that now we live in a day where people want to know the worst of people.
There's no grace.
That's hard.
Yeah.
We look at people and the first thing is not what they're doing well, not how they're supporting our community. The first thing we want to know is what they done did wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I don't sit on this seat because I'm perfect, even as a pastor. And every day I'm asking God, forgive me. I'm trying to do right. But man, it is hard when you live around people who in our core want to think the worst of people. And that is spewing. I think that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the microcosm of the negativity that we have. We want to see the worst. People want to know what's the worst about Keith.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not the good stuff that he's doing. But man, look what look at this. He done did this.
Right.
You're like, man, wow.
All you have to do is check the comment section of any article or posting. Like, is it because you can hide behind a device?
This social media bring all this on.
Man, listen. It had to a certain extent.
Yeah, it gave people boldness.
It did. And you can be anonymous and be hateful as you want to be. It's almost like the crowd, right? Who is the crowd?
Who's the crowd?
Versus who's Keith Johnson. What did he say? What did Charles Goodman say? And so,
and this is why I appreciate, that's why I'm grateful you let me come on, because here's another challenge. We no longer check credentials.
yes.
When we were growing up, man, think about this. We all got our news from the same source because we trusted the people behind the desk, ABC, NBC, right? We trusted the people who wrote books because I knew what schools they went to. Now, anybody could say anything. We don't know none of their credentials. We don't know where you just woke up today and had a thought. And man, now
and you
went
reposted
viral.
It. Yes, it's going viral. I think we live
And I'm looking like, who said it?
Yeah.
Why are we giving that much weight to people who haven't proven anything?
Yeah. It's the celebrity culture. And like people want to have their 5 minutes of fame. And I believe that we also have just kind of gotten a little shallow, man.
Shallow.
Because if you think about it, right?
That's good.
Like we have never had more information at our fingertips.
Never.
Like
Can you imagine growing up with a phone?
With ChatGPT?
With anything. Let's go before we get to ChatGPT. Could you imagine growing up with what we got in our pockets?
No.
I couldn't imagine it.
It would have been the worst thing ever.
The worst
thing ever.
Died.
Like, because that little camera would have just taken all kind of...
It'd been all kind of crazy stuff.
All kind of stuff.
I'm grateful I was able to be a kid in an anonymous time.
I mean, because like we couldn't watch HBO after a certain time of night. Man, what you talking about?
We didn't even have HBO. And half the crazy stuff we did, I'm grateful it wasn't on no video.
Yes. So like we have that kind of access now, but I still feel like because everything is so instant, there's no time for anything to just chill. Let's deliberate.
Yes.
Let's let things work out.
Yes.
There always has to be an answer.
Yes. And I think what this administration, the guy who's over it, has learned, the chief currency now in today's culture is attention.
Even if it's negative.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He has mastered it.
Yeah.
Any attention is good attention.
Yeah.
Because they're looking at me.
That's the entertainer in him, though.
It's entertainer.
Wow. Great discussion on that. I'm going to push it forward a little bit. Who's your GOAT? Jordan, Kobe, or Bron?
That's crazy. Why are you going to ask me this?
Come on. The people want to know.
Jordan. I saw him.
Okay.
Jordan's the GOAT.
Jordan is the GOAT.
Kobe's my favorite player. I think LeBron James, it might be the most impactful basketball player ever.
Yeah.
But I think it's hard to delineate things. I think all three of those would do well in whichever era.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever seen a physical freak like LeBron, man. Can you imagine 22 years at this level?
At the level.
This is amazing.
27 last
But once
night.
again, this is what I was saying. I think Jordan has a higher high than LeBron, I think LeBron has a longer window of greatness than Mike.
You know,
I saw Mike in the 90s. I mean,
it was magic.
I saw it.
It's magical.
I couldn't turn from the TV.
It's magical.
It just jumped off the screen.
But I will say this, man. Like Bron is taking some stances on some issues in the community.
No, he's the most impactful.
And with him not having a father figure and being in the spotlight, the intangibles.
Yes.
Like he never had like the scandal. Like, come on.
No, he's been amazing. Listen, and it's not a knock. It's 1A, 1B. I mean,
I agree.
It's not. And here's what's crazy.
I agree.
For someone who's not a shoot first guy, he still has the record for the most points of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what makes LeBron amazing. And he doesn't really have a go-to move. If you watch basketball,
you're right.
LeBron doesn't have a go-to move.
You're right.
And he still is amazing. His basketball mind's incredible. But shout out to all three. To me.
All right. This is a hypothetical question as we kind of get into the last part of the show. If Jesus were to walk into the barbershop today.
Wow.
Right.
And get a fade because you got to have
and get a fade. He would have a fade now.
Absolutely.
Right?
He's black.
I mean, come on.
Absolutely.
Say it again.
My Jesus is black.
That's right. That's right. Shout out.
So, I mean, be clear. And it's not just skin color. What I talk about is an experience. I mean, James Cone talks about God of the oppressed, and he talks about how when you study Jesus, especially in his day, he was in the marginalized community.
He was
not in the place of power. And that's why I bother today who many people who make Jesus, instead of their master, make him a mascot. And that's what I struggle with. But
what would he say to us? Like, what would he say to us? For example, right? So I find peace in knowing that Jesus had humanity.
Yeah.
And that he exhibited anger, right?
Yeah.
Even
turn the tables over.
I was going to say that. Not just turn the tables over, Goodman. Yeah. Like, let's get biblical. He grabbed the whip.
He did grab the whip.
What you mean? He drove him out with the whip. So that
he was gangster, man.
Like, so like that's
people
some real stuff.
Jesus. Jesus on the dock.
He was
common. I mean, he was getting it.
Even when Judas was about
go do your thing, man. Do your thing.
Go ahead and do it. Go
on, bro.
Don't be dipping in the bowl.
Turn another cheek. I mean, it was just some gangster stuff in there, man. I love it.
So like, how do we humanize Jesus in a way where we have a society that, like you said, holds him up? Obviously, we do as our doctrine, but almost to being unapproachable when that was the opposite.
I think if Jesus was around today, he would be in the barbershops. He would be in the lounges because that's where he was. If you notice in the scriptures, he always went to the places nowhere else wanted to go, right? Like he's rocking with the lepers.
Yeah, touching them. Don't touch them people.
He's going over this. He was with the women with the issue of blood. He was at Jairus' crib. He was where people said you shouldn't be, which I think has always been a clarion call for many of us who claim to follow him. Are we really following him, right? That work is done on the margins.
Yeah.
That work is done not in the ivory towers, but it's done on the streets, right? I think he'd be a man of the people. I think, once again, that's what makes him so different. That's why they were so like, who is this guy?
Who is this guy?
Yeah.
I mean, he has the audacity to say he's the son of God. Yeah. Man, we know your mama. You from Nazareth. Man, come on. Bro. What are you talking about?
Matter of fact, ain't you the carpenter's boy?
Man, listen.
We heard about that scandal talking about you, the Holy Spirit, Doc. I mean, so I think when you put it into context, the narrative is a very human story. The Jesus story to me is a human story. That's why I enjoy telling it. Because I feel like, and that's why this summer we're doing our destination series again, and I'm looking forward to that. And this year I'm focusing on the places where Jesus, the miracle, we call it like the miracles of Jesus, or the greatest hits of Jesus. So where he was in Cana. Think about it. His first miracle was turn the water into wine.
At the wedding.
At the wedding, Doc. At the party.
And the way
that the party going. The first miracle. And the way that he introduced himself is I'm turning the water into wine.
Even when he responded to his mom.
Yeah, like, look.
Like, woman, it ain't my time yet. You know what I've been doing at home. Yeah. You ain't had no business putting me on the spot like that, right?
But she says, all right, never mind him. Just do what he said. So I feel like
fill it up.
I love it.
And they were like, this is even better than the first.
I love the story of Jesus. I tell people that's why the Bible to me has always been, if you love the stories, if you love movies, that story, the Bible story, it's the greatest story ever told.
Yeah. So as we transition into our last segment, how has your definition of success changed over the years?
Yeah. I think it probably is what we kind of talked about earlier, man. I don't want to be successful. I want to be significant. I want to be legendary. I'm hoping the work that I've been able to do with the help of God and with some amazing people, that it transcends beyond my own time. I really, at this point, man, I'm at the point, I had a mentor of mine a year or so ago says, man, you're in legacy stage. Ages 40 to 60 is legacy.
Ooh.
Everything we do now is legacy. And that hit me like, oh, wow.
Because we spend the younger years building, right?
Building. It's legacy.
Like I feel like at 25, it was a blur. It was
grind,
just trying to get there, trying to
30,
get
you
there,
found
trying to
yourself,
get there.
You get yourself. 30s is like, all right, I kind of know me. 40 is all right. Now I'm at the point, man, I realize I'm going to be planting seeds from trees I will never pick fruit from.
Ooh. Man, that's deep.
And so I'm more committed to that. Making sure that I get those seeds in the ground and be fine to know that whatever is developed from that, I probably won't benefit from, but somebody else will.
Somebody else will.
Whether it's the fruit from it or the shade from it.
And so
it's legacy, man. Keep winning legacy, man. You get ready, get of age, man. This is legacy.
I know.
This is legacy stuff.
And I
These
think
legacy
about
movements.
that as well when I try to encourage some of these boys that I coach, right? Because they're friends of my son, and they're like between 9 and 11 years old. And it's not just football. Just like we're talking about, sports is a way to learn about life. And you try to inspire them, not just on the field, but off the field, to see you can be successful and help people and speak in complete sentences.
My coaches have been father figures. Coach Price, my high school basketball coach, to this day is still one of the biggest influences in my life. And what I learned on that court, and they didn't always let me play when I wanted to play, but man, I knew that I had a place of safety. He was the picture of being a dad, being a man that I saw. And so I commend you and the things you're doing in the city, man. That's dope.
I got a couple more questions for you. So if a young man were to walk up to you and say, you know, I feel like I'm called, but I'm scared. Like, what would you tell him?
Great question. Hey, I pray with him because I understand how that weight feels. I may test them a little bit. Because if you're serious about it, you can't run from it. Old preacher once told me this back in the day, if it don't bother you, it don't bother me. One thing I ask God is surround me with people who have a passion for it. And when I see you got a passion for it, I'm going to cultivate it.
Yeah.
I got a young kid now that just loves to be around me, hangs around, wants to follow me on Sunday. He's 8, and whenever his mom lets him do it.
I saw him. I saw him.
Kingston.
He is awesome.
He loves the
Shout
Lord.
out to Kingston, right?
And man, I want to cultivate that. And because that reminds me of me. If you got a passion for it, I want to see it. I want to do whatever I can to keep fanning that, right? I want you to enjoy it. But there's responsibilities. You got to do well in school.
Yeah.
Now, this is a privilege, bro.
Yeah.
So if your mom says you ain't doing what you're supposed to do in school, you can't go with me on Sunday.
Yeah.
Because I need to give him incentive. I need to see what he wants to do. But I want to keep it there. Like, I also know you 8, and I want you to be 8.
Yeah.
I want you to be 9. I want you to be 10. I want you to be a kid. Like, this is a big responsibility. And I don't want you to run from it, but I also want you to go through the different stages of life that you have with it. So when people come, I get that all the time. I'm grateful for the lot of mentees and stuff that I have opportunity. And I want them to be themselves. But if you got a passion for it, bother me. Yeah. That's like me, man. When I'm in it, I'm a bother. Like, my mentors know, oh, there go Goody, he calling again. I got a question. Yeah. They didn't have to look for me. If you notice how Jesus got his disciples, he didn't go looking for them. They were always in the way.
They were always in the way.
They're around them.
Yeah.
And sometimes, people always want stuff from us, but then I can't chase you.
Yeah.
But if you want it, if you want it, you'll show up. It's like with any athlete. Like,
that's right.
I shouldn't have to beg you to be at the gym at 5 in the morning. If you want it,
it got to be in you.
It's got to be in you.
It has to be in you. You cannot put
and if
that
I
in
see
somebody.
you got it,
now
I'll meet you there.
Now we got some.
I love it. If you want to run extra routes,
it makes you excited. It makes you excited.
When you want it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to have to call, hey, man, where you at? Oh, man, I overslept. Okay.
All right, cool. That's on you. Finally, this is a 2-part question. What would you tell your 12-year-old self, man?
Wow.
Because I feel like this can help somebody.
Yeah.
And I'm going to let you think about that for a second.
At 12, wow, what grade was that?
probably 6th, 7th grade.
Yeah, that's right
at that
there.
pivotal time. Maybe you're a little
Feeling
chubby.
myself, feeling myself, yeah.
Trying to kind of.
I had a Gumby, I think,
This
at that
is
age. I had a
before.
Gumby.
This
That was
is
cool.
This is before
Yeah.
you had that encounter with the
did,
guy
yeah.
and the fork in the road.
Yeah.
And also, we'll kind of close with talking about what the weight of purpose feels like.
Yeah. I would tell my 12-year-old self,
Yeah.
it's okay. Be a kid. I think at that time at 12, Keith, honestly, because I didn't really know my dad, there was a lot of things being adopted that I was at that point finally coming into realization was, as a kid, I was an angry kid. That's why I'm grateful I got into sports. That's another part of that story. I was angry. I don't know why I was angry. Best thing my granddad did was put me in sports to deal with that anger. And so what I would tell my 12-year-old self is, man, it's going to be all right. You know, and I would also tell myself at 12, I would be like, hey, you know, you're going to fail and it's going to be okay. Try anyhow. Because sometimes I think at that age, we're not willing to try because we don't want to fail. I wish I would have tried more things.
Yeah.
And failed more.
Yeah.
Because I think that in failure, man, there's trying and there is the learning that you can only get from that.
There's wisdom in it not working out.
Yes.
And in trying and failing. If you're not failing, I've told kids this before, if you're not failing, you're not doing enough.
You're not doing enough.
You're not trying enough.
I would have failed more at 12.
Yes. Yes.
Because then I would have tried more.
Yeah.
I think at that time, you're 12, you kind of gravitate towards what you're good at. I wish I would have did things I wasn't so good at to just see. Yeah.
And I'm going to give you the floor as I think is appropriate with your gifts and the words and how you've changed lives. Just can you just give a closing remarks on the weight of purpose and why we should always be striving to walk in purpose.
Cool. Thanks, Keith, man. Once again, it's been dope. And to all those viewing this, it's an amazing platform. I want you to know that you got purpose. You got something that God has created all of us to do and to be. And one of the greatest things we can do is tap into that. And don't allow circumstances or experiences or even negativity of people to stop you from being who you are. You know, God gave us this great gift of being created in His image, the Imago Dei. We're all created in the image of God in our own uniqueness. So I just want to encourage you to stand strong, to find your passion, and to live that out every single day. Keith, it's all right. I want to pray, if that's all right, for just you and for those.
Absolutely.
God, we're so honored and humbled once again that you have created this platform and space for us to kind of just be and to just groove and to just kind of just be with one another. I lift up Keith. I thank you for what he's doing in our community. I thank you for the efforts that he has and just committing themselves to helping those who are less fortunate to find themselves in some crazy circumstances. So because of his willingness to help others, God, I pray that you continue to strengthen him, bless him and his family, bless his work that he's doing, and just let him know that we are just so proud of him and grateful for what he's doing. I pray for our community and many who have tapped in and perhaps just rolled up on this podcast today, and I'm not sure what they came looking for, but God, I thank you that you meet us right where we are. So God, I thank you that you are a meter of needs, and I pray that you'll once again allow us to just flow how you want us to flow and be how you want us to be. So we believe that. And since, God, you have blessed us in such a tremendous way, let us be a blessing. I pray that you encourage us and strengthen us to make a difference in someone else's life, because that's what it's all about. This is our prayer. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen.
Go Eagles.
How can people find you, man?
Man, I'm on social media, all of them, man.
Okay.
DRCEGJR, Facebook, Instagram. They trying to get me on this TikTok thing. I'm trying to figure it out.
Come on now.
I can't think everything else, man. We all are there. Check out tbcaugusta.org. Check out our church. We're really trying to do some impactful things, man. And so that's what we are.
Absolutely. PG has 4 books.
Yeah.
You can't
Working
run
on
from
the 5th right now. So y'all pray for me through that one.
you can't run from purpose, road to recovery, the flip side of favor, and it's complicated. Please check him out. He's a great brother, and he's someone who has dedicated his life to the right things, to being a messenger of God. And that comes with a lot of weight. It comes with a lot of obstacles. And as you heard, it comes with a personal story that he has forged through, and it's given him strength and also compassion to do God's work. And so as we wrap up this episode of the Lawyers Lounge, I want to thank you all for listening. I want to thank you all for your time. And I want to thank you for giving us a chance to come into your homes, into your cars, and into your spirit. This conversation reminded me that purpose isn't just heavy, it's holy. We don't always talk about the cost of being chosen, but that weight is what shapes the man. Think about how you're going to leave a footprint in the sand and leave your mark. We talked about legacy. So many times we're focused on the here and now. We don't want to take a peek around the corner to see how our work impacts the greater whole. So think about your legacy and what people will say about you when your time is up. I hope you felt the truth, the humor, the honesty, because what Pastor Goodman dropped today wasn't just theology, it was therapy. Stay strong, stay rooted, and remember, being called doesn't mean you have to carry it alone. As always, don't look back to the past. It can't do you any good. What's happened has happened. The future is in the hands of the good Lord. Trust him with that. Don't worry about tomorrow like the Bible talks about. Stay present. Stay in your gift. Do the best you can right now. And in doing that, you're serving God. Until next time, salute.